identify, count them. And in these few minutes, I want to share with you the meaning of counting the Omer, of those special days which the Gaon of Vilna, viewed as a long Chol HaMoed. Well, there's something interesting about those days. It's not just counting. There's an interesting halacha that the Achronim learn from the Pasuk. The Torah commands us, "Usfartem lachem mimacharat haShabbat." From after Shabbat, after the first Yom Tov of Pesach, we should count for ourselves the count of the Omer. And the Pasuk says, "Usfartem lachem." You all should count. It's different than counting for the Shemitah and the Yovel years, when the Torah says, "V'sefarta lecha," an individual or based in, count in the name of the whole nation. Here, for some reason, the Torah tells us, "Usfartem lachem," all of you should count. So all of us count the Omer. The Achronim learn here more than just counting. Usually, in any bracha, if I hear the bracha from someone else, so we have the halacha that shomea ke'oneh, someone who hears the bracha as if he says it. Reading the Megillah, for example. All of us should be reading the Megillah, but only one reads, and we all hear the Megillah, and by hearing the Megillah, as if we all read. Sfirat HaOmer is different. Usfartem lachem. Each one of us should count the Omer. If I hear from someone else, I can hear the bracha. He can be motzi me with the bracha, but I need to count. I need to say, Hayom Shiv'a Yamim, Hayom Asara Yamim. I need to count myself. Usfartem lachem. Each one of us should be counting. And why? What is the meaning of that all of us should be counting the Omer? There's a few other countings in the Torah. One of them is when a woman becomes pure, purifies herself. And also there, she counts with Afrala. She counts for herself. She needs to count the days. She doesn't need to say the numbers, but she needs to count. Sfirat HaOmer has two meanings to it. That counting makes here something. And when we realize that each one of us need to count, it's not enough to hear from someone else. We can assume that the mitzvah is not just to say the words. It's not enough just to say, Hayom Yom Echad Ba'omer, Hayom Shnei Yamim. There's something much deeper than that. It's not saying the number, it's counting the number. And that's a great difference. And we'll show two aspects of this great difference between saying the words of how much it is today and counting, lisfor, how much it is today. One of the meanings could be learned from a woman who purifies herself. And also there, the Torah commands her to count the numbers of days, 7 days. She doesn't necessarily need to say the numbers, but she counts. She goes through a process of purifying herself. 7 days. And also us, as a nation, as individuals, when we go out of Egypt, when we leave Pesach towards receiving the Torah, towards Mount Sinai, we count. We go through a process of purifying ourselves, making us ready to achieve, to reach, to accept the Torah, to learn Torah. That's one of the meanings of each one of us counting. Another meaning is we are making Shavuos holy. Well, you see, holidays have a date in the Torah. If we just finished Pesach, the Torah mentions exactly what's the date of Pesach. On the 14th of Nisan, everyone gathers, we shech the Pesach, and then from the 15th, we have a holiday of 7 days. Every holiday has a date in the Torah, apart from one holiday, apart from Shavuos, the day when we received the Torah. Usually in a holiday, so based in, they look at the moon and they decide when the holiday will be. Set Rosh Chodesh, and then comes the date of the holiday. In Shavuos, there's no based in, there's no date. We set the date. We create the holiness of receiving the Torah. We create the date of Shavuos. Okay, so Shavuos will be always 50 days after the first day of Pesach. But when we count, it's not just counting the days, it's creating the holiness in a date. It's instead of basing saying that date will be Shavuos, that's Rosh Chodesh Nisan, that's Rosh Chodesh Iyar, that's Rosh Chodesh Sivan. We count, we make the days, we make it holy. That's why each one of us counts. And Shavuos is special. All of us are part of the Torah. All of us can learn Torah. All of us, each one of us, has his own letter in the Torah, his own view, his own connection, his special way to learn, his special way to spread out Torah. And each one needs to count. It's not enough for Beis Din to count, because the Torah of Beis Din isn't the same Torah as mine, and not the same Torah of you. That's why the Torah tells us, when we reach Shavuot, Hashem doesn't want just Beis Din to count and Beis Din to tell us when to celebrate this receiving the Torah. Hashem wants all of us to go through the process of purifying ourselves and create the state when we can receive the Torah. Usfartem lachem mimacharat haShabbat. Each one of us also goes through the process and also creates the way where he can receive the Torah and he can get his special connection to Torah and pass it on to other people. So every evening when we count, we should remember, it's not just saying numbers. It's much more than that. It's counting the days. It's creating the days. Creating the holy time between Pesach and Shavuot. May we have a great and inspiring Sirat HaOmer that will lead us to a great, great day of receiving the Torah of Shavuot.